Want to smell great for a fraction of the price? Here's my top 10 cologne fragrances that you should check out for yourself and save a ton of cash. Welcome to Mags Frags. Hello again folks, and today I'm going to be sharing my top 10 favourite cologne fragrances with you all. Yesterday I posted a question to a Facebook group asking their opinions on colognes, and I was really surprised at how many positive responses I received, with many saying that some colognes even outperform the original scents. I own around 60 colognes, and personally I feel that they're a great way to sample niche fragrances that would have otherwise been out of my price range. I now tend to buy originals more often than not because I'm building a more serious collection, but for anyone that's not bothered about a fancy bottle or a brand name, you can't go wrong with a decent cologne. If you purchase them from places like Perfume, Parlour, Alexandria fragrances or Dua fragrances, they're usually very accurate interpretations and perform really well for a fraction of the cost of the OG. So let's not waste any more time and let's get stuck into this list. Please remember that these are only my own personal favourites from the ones I own. If you have any others that you'd like to recommend, please leave a comment down in the comment section and I'd love to check them out. So without further ado, let's crack on and let's jump straight in to this list. Okay, at the number 10 spot in this rundown we have CRAZE by the HAWAS Armaf. This is Armaf's take on Pegasus by Parfums de Marly, which is a metallic gourmand fragrance that I feel smells a bit like pear drop sweets. It's very sweet with prominent notes of vanilla and almond and has a faint powderiness to it. I don't own the Parfums de Marly version, but I have got my nose on it a few times in department stores, and I've tested these two side by side, and I can tell you that they're almost identical to my nose in the dry down. But the thing with every cologne fragrance that I've ever tested is that they have a really unpleasant synthetic opening. This is probably due to the chemicals that they use to create the notes that resemble the expensive natural ingredients found in niche fragrances. CRAZE is no exception to this, and it's advisable to let this one settle for around 15 minutes before you come into contact with other people. This has very good performance, and I can still pick up wafts after around 7 to 8 hours. It's probably better suited to cooler months, as I can imagine it would get quite sickly in warmer temperatures. You can pick this one up for around about £25 online for a 100ml bottle like this one, and for that price it's a no-brainer compared to the £170 that you pay for a 100ml bottle of Pegasus. So coming in at the number 10 spot, it is CRAZE by the HAWAS Armaf. Yes, coming in at the number 9 spot we have Perfume Parlour's Easterner 1830. This is a clone of Serge Lutens' Shergi. Shergi is an oriental spicy fragrance for both men and women. It's a sweet and spicy fragrance with prominent notes of tobacco and honey. I feel it leans a little bit towards being more masculine, and it suits a more mature person. It's long lasting and has decent projection, and I think it suits any dressed up or formal situations. Again, I've tested this against the original, as I've done with every cologne on this list, and I have to say that this smells extremely similar to the original. You'd have to smell them directly side by side to tell any difference between these two. I've had mixed reviews whilst wearing this, but that's not a criticism of this cologne. It's just what you'd expect when you buy niche fragrances. They aren't as mass appealing as designer fragrances, and some people simply won't like them, whilst others absolutely love them. Perfume Parlour are a company based in the Midlands in the UK, and I've bought around 70% of my cologne fragrances from them. You can buy any of their fragrances in 13ml, 30ml and 50ml sizes, and the prices are usually between £5 and £15. This is a 30ml size and I paid £8.75 for this one. A 50ml bottle of this of Shergi would set you back around 10 times more at £110. So this is great value for money if you want to smell Shergi without paying the extra. So at number 9 we have got Easterner from Perfume Parlour. Okay, in the number 8 spot we have FRUCTOSE VIRGINIS by Alexandria Fragrances. This is a clone of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. This is a sexy, seductive cherry composition with hints of almond and tonka bean. Again, it is very similar to the original, but when I tested them side by side, I actually found that the clone lasted a little bit longer on my skin. The opening in the Tom Ford is noticeably smoother blended, but in the dry down, they smell almost identical to my nose. The cherry in this is literally amazing, and if you love the note of cherry, then you need to go and check this one out, or even go on blind buy. It's fantastic, really nice scent. The cherry in this does fade away after about an hour or so though, and then it turns into like an incense type smell with Turkish rose, vetiver and sandalwood amongst the notes in the base. This is a unisex fragrance and it can be worn all year round, both daytime office wear and in the evenings or date nights. It's a cracking scent. I love the original one. I think I paid around about £35 for this. The Alexandria fragrances are a little bit more expensive than the Perfume Parlour clones, but it's great. It's a cracking scent, really good. I suggest you go and check this one out. Coming in at number 8 on this list, we have got FRUCTOSE VIRGINIS. Okay, at number 7 we have from the HAWAS Rasasi, Darej. This one is a replica of a now discontinued fragrance, Valentino V from 2006. If you ever wore or owned Valentino V, you won't believe how much this smells identical to it. This is an EDP concentration, and the words beast mode accurately describe the performance of this bad boy. 2 sprays of this is more than enough, and that will last you 10 hours plus, and nobody will fail to get a whiff as you walk past them. This doesn't produce a scent cloud, folks. This creates scent fog. Don't let the fact that the purple juice in this resembles a bottle of terps. This is a stunning fragrance with a spicy metallic opening with elegant sweetness and a woody dry down. This is around £20 on eBay and Amazon, I believe, but it does smell Playboy rich. Check it out. At number 7 on this countdown, we have Darej by the HAWAS Rasasi. Okay, in the number 6 spot we have HORNLESS 1641. This is another one from the Perfume Parlour and their interpretation of Galloway by Parfums de Marly. Galloway is a very bright citrusy fragrance, but a different take on the usual blue designer freshes like Bleu de Chanel or Sauvage. It has a prominent note of musk, and this is what gives it a more grown-up and expensive feel. Orange blossom and iris provide a sweetness, but the iris is not prominent like in Prada L'Homme or Dior Homme Intense. This version is, surprise, surprise, very similar to the original, and again performs really well for a fresh fragrance. One thing to note with Perfume Parlour fragrances though is that they leave like a really oily residue on the skin, so be careful when spraying them on your clothes because they will leave a stain. I think the original Galloway is slightly overpriced for what it is, but this clone is very accurate, so therefore at number 6 on this rundown we have HORNLESS by the Perfume Parlour. Yes, moving up to the number 5 on this list, we have the 3rd entry from the Perfume Parlour. This is their take on Tom Ford's Oud Wood, and this goes by the name of Golden AGAR 0636. Oud Wood is one of the most popular fragrances in the Tom Ford private blend lineup. It's a dark and mysterious scent and has an undeniable luxurious quality to it. It is a modern day classic that screams affluence and success. The Perfume Parlour version is identical to my nose, but in my opinion this one projects more and lasts longer than the original. When I tested them side by side, the Perfume Parlour version was going strong at the 5-hour mark, whilst the Tom Ford had all but faded. This is ideal for autumn and winter and can be worn by any age range. If you haven't sampled this gem, I would highly recommend that you give this one a try. A 13ml bottle, like this one here, costs a £5, and it will have you smelling $1 million. So, for that, we have at number 5 in this list, an absolute little gem, folks. we have Golden AGAR by the Perfume Parlour. Yes, coming in at number 4, one of the best known clones on the market, and ironically it is a clone of one of the most hyped fragrances in recent times. This is from the House of Armaf and goes by the name of Club de Nuit Intense Man. Yes, you probably all know this is a clone of Creed Aventus and is just one of hundreds of other Aventus replica and inspired by fragrances. This one though has loads of love from the fragrance community, and that's why I opted for this over the others. Aventus has had many batch reformulations over the years, which some have been smokier versions and other weighted towards like a fruitier blend. This is said to replicate the smokier batches. This to my nose is identical to the original, and if anyone says that they can tell that this isn't Aventus without them being side by side, is lying out of their rear end. This is £28 on Amazon for a 105ml bottle. The equivalent size bottle of Creed Aventus would set you back around £265. I like Aventus, but I don't love it, and for that reason, this one only makes the number 4 spot on my list. Another thing, I believe in the fragrance community, a lot of other reviewers have said that there is a Middle Eastern version of this one, and there's also a French version. If you want to buy this one, make sure that you pick up the French version of this one. I think it's maybe more slightly accurate, but definitely pick up the French one rather than the Middle East one. So again, at number 4 on this list, Club de Nuit Intense Man by the House of Armaf. Okay, taking the bronze medal position in this list is another one from the House of Armaf. This is a perfect clone of Dior Sauvage, and this one goes by the name of Ventana. First off, this comes in the most horrible bottle. The naff design and the cheap and nasty plastic just don't do this justice whatsoever. It's a 98% accurate clone to Dior Sauvage. I do actually own the original Sauvage EDT, and I can tell you, even side by side, you can hardly tell a difference between these two. This is the equivalent to a painting by a master forger. Only the experts could spot the most minute detail. The only reason this is in 3rd place is because I prefer the smell of the next 2 fragrances. Otherwise, it would be at the top. At £21 for a 100ml bottle, this is something you could buy even if you own Dior Sauvage, just to throw in your gym bag. This is a compliment grabbing beast that you can wear any time of the year. Performance is great, it lasts all day, and it projects for a good 3 to 4 hours. So taking the number 3 spot in this list, we have Ventana from the House of Armaf. Okay, the next one is a bit of a wild card because it's not exactly a clone and it's not so cheap either. But coming in at the number 2 position and scooping the silver medal is from the House of Rasasi. We have got HAWAS. This smells incredibly similar to the 2016 version of Invictus Aqua that is now discontinued and goes for massively inflated prices on eBay. This is not technically a clone though, as it was launched in 2015, a year before the Invictus Flanker. It comes in a nice heavy glass bottle with a slightly tacky snake detailing on the cap. Because of the hype that this has received over the past couple of years, it is now around £50 for a 150ml bottle. But the performance is superb, it projects like a monster and lasts all day. If you enjoyed Invictus Aqua 2016, then this is a cheaper alternative than paying upwards of £100 for half a bottle of the original on eBay. It's a really fantastic fresh fragrance, you can wear it all the time, super versatile, and I can't say enough about this one. I loved the original Invictus Aqua, but this is definitely as good as the original. So if you haven't already checked this one out, make sure you just give this one a go somewhere if you can find a decant, or even go ahead and buy this one outright, because it's definitely worth a blind buy. So taking the number 2 spot on this list, we have got from the House of Rasasi, HAWAS. Okay, taking the gold medal and my personal favourite cologne is another one from the Perfume Parlour. And this is Lose Control 1459, which is the Perfume Parlour's take on By Kilian's Intoxicated. This is my number one, not because it's any more accurate than the others on this list. It is simply because Intoxicated is my favourite niche fragrance, and wearing this cologne brings back happy memories for me. I intend to purchase an original version of this scent very soon, which I will wear for like just special occasions, and I'll probably just use this one as a backup. This one, like all Perfume Parlour clones, has a pore synthetic opening, but after around 10-15 minutes it smells very similar to the original. I also purchased a pack of wax melts for my home tea light burner, so my home also smells of this wonderful creation. The notes in the original Intoxicated are cardamom, nutmeg, cinnamon and coffee. I remember the first time I smelt this. I was in a department store a few years ago and the lady in the counter sprayed it on my forearm. I remember thinking at that time that I really didn't like this. It was just so different from the designer fragrances that I was wearing at the time. But around about half an hour later, I was sat in a coffee shop and it all just made sense. I kept smelling my arm time after time and it seemed to be getting better each time I caught a whiff. I know it's cheesy, but the name Intoxicated was exactly how I felt at that time. It was the very first cologne fragrance that I ever bought because spending £200 at that time for a 50ml bottle of fragrance just seemed ludicrous. Since then I've built up a decent collection of designer scents, and now I'm ready to kind of dip my toe in the niche pond. It's only right and fitting that my first niche purchase should be the one that inspired me to start my journey into building like a fragrance collection. So taking the number one spot on this list, my favourite, Lose Control, which is a clone of By Kilian's Intoxicated. Okay guys, that's about it for this rundown of my favourite cologne fragrances. I would love to know if you have any great alternatives to this list, so please let me know down in the comments section. And please also don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.